Let's take out the old gloves for this one because we are going to need it. Oh my god, take a look at this. Ugh. Yeah, you might want to close your windows, guys, because, well, if I'm gonna shake this too much, we're gonna start a new pandemic. So, this is, well, very suitable. We have the PS4 just, well, being trashed, sitting on top of a trash can right here. And a setup, big boy compressor, power cord, camera for you guys. Let's see some action. If the support is definitely there for this, then I will do a follow-up video with all the information required in order for you to have your chance to win this PS4 Pro. It looks absolutely amazingly horrible. Of course, we should check what's going on inside as well, because I'm pretty sure it's pretty dirty and crusty. So let's open it up as well while we are here and doing the dirty bit. With a PS4 Pro, you have to start at the four corners with the front, because this kind of slides in from the back. So you have to pry them up open from the front here. If you have never done this before, you might actually have to use some force. It might feel like braking, but you're actually on the right path. Mine has already been open a few years back, but let's give it a chance. Let's give it a try. Hey, very easy. There we go. Surprisingly, not that bad. But still, let's clean it out. Alright, so this is the end result right here, and as you can see, it's looking quite okay. Just a little bit of a light dusting, and it should be okay with a rag. So that now we can basically tear it apart and, well, take a look on the inside. Maybe replace that thermal paste. So the next logical step is to actually see if it works before we jump in there and tear it apart so that I can replace the thermal paste. So yeah, let's give it a shot. It's connected to this monitor right here, so let's see if it works. It works. I was actually half expecting it not to work. So with the cover off right here, this is the fan assembly, as you can see. It's nothing really complicated. There are a few screws that we have to remove before we can remove the power supply unit of the PS4 Pro. So of course Sony is not going to make it easy for us to get in here. These are security Torx screws, so that basically means that you need a bit with a hole inside of it, like the one that I have right here. I hope you can catch that one if it focuses on it. By now, this sort of bits are actually quite common, and you can find them pretty much everywhere, unless you'd go ahead and pull the trigger and buy yourself an iFixit kit. What was in here? One right here, another one, a longer one. There we go. All right, so with these screws now removed, don't go ahead and pry on it just yet. There is this heat shield right here that you can actually remove, just so that you don't damage it later on. So you can just grab it and pull it up and it goes right up. So you can set that to the side just to, you know, it's a very flimsy piece of aluminum. Yeah, I just try to put it aside, not to damage it in the process. And now we can flip this over and we can go ahead and pop out this plastic bit right here. So this is for the SSD inside the unit. So it's a regular Phillips head screw. Let's go ahead and remove it. There you go. Now if you want to, this is what you have to do in order to just, you know, take your SSD out. Oh my god, that's so dusty. Take a look at this guy. Just gonna set it aside before final assembly, because I'm gonna do my best and clean it out. It's absolutely gross. Which, yeah, more nastiness coming out of this, so I'll just glove up for this one. Alright, much better now. Next in line we have these void if removed stickers, because behind them here are two screws. So yeah, and since this is well out of warranty, I don't even care about them too much. As you can see, one screw is there. Hey, there we go. Alright. And we have the same security Torx screw in here. That means it is a screw with a metal bit in the middle there. I think that this is going to be the theme here. So let's go ahead and remove these screws. Now we can set it down and we can pry up on the whole unit from this side. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna make my job easier for me by just inserting this pry tool in here. There we go, so that we can get the clips going. It needs quite a bit of force, but yeah, there we go. My God, and now we just slide backwards. Okay. That's a bit of nastiness in there, but I was actually, I was thinking that this is going to be the case. Let's go out and, well, dust it off. Alright, so now we can finally move over to the next stage, which is, of course, well, removing the screws here on this metal backplate. Now, key point to mention, all of these silvery screws that you see right here are going to be bolted in, or I should say screwed into a plastic bit on the other side, and all of these black screws right here are going to be, well, going through another metal piece on the back side. So in case you lose your order or something, you can always go back to this. These go into plastic bits, so it kind of ties down the metal to the plastic, while this tied in the metal with the metal on the other side. So just as a reference point. Alright, so now that we have the other gazillion screws, well, removed, we have a bunch of, well, you know, wireless antennas to remove here, a connector to remove here, and a bunch of these, well, ribbon connectors right here. So we'll go ahead and gently remove all of those. So I'm going to be using a, there we go. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we can remove this aside. There we go. I'm gonna put it here so that it's away from our working area, and as well for this, and as well for this one right here. So I'm going to set it aside. There we go. And now we can remove these ribbon connectors. Alright, so they just pull out easily. There we go, that's one. There's another one, there's one here. For this, there is a small clip that you have to remove, or I should say pull upwards on. Something like a fingernail works actually very good. You just pull it up and then you can remove this connector here. And just like that is removed. There's another one right here. Also gently pull backwards on it and remove it from its slot, and also this one right here, like that. And there is this connector here as well that we have to, well, remove. Pull just on the tab that is from the connector itself. All right, and that's it. That's also removed. One other thing to mention, as you can see, this here cable has to be removed. All right, so that we can remove this assembly without it being into place. Just prying upwards on it gently should do the trick. Screw. Oh, I missed a screw. Of course I missed a screw. There it is. The millionth screw. Okay, there it is. And now I would say we can gently lift this out of place. There we go. Like that. Put it aside. All right. So this is the underside of the motherboard right here. Nothing really impressive to look at, but let's go ahead and pop these out so that we can get it ready to be removed. Now that we have this ready to come out, I'm just going to be using a plastic pry tool so that I don't damage anything when it comes out. There we go. We can take a look on the underside here. Not that much. It's a bit dusty, but not very much. And these seem to be okay. If you do have some new thermal pads for the memory, then yeah, you can go ahead and replace them. But I don't have any new ones or other ones, so I'm just gonna leave these on. They seem a bit oily, but overall they're not crusty or anything, so I think so I still think that they're going to do their job very well. Yeah, all right, this is where the CPU, or I should say the APU is, so let's go ahead and remove those 4 screws. So this is the X bracket that has to go in like this, so that keeps everything nice and tensioned. And I would say that this motherboard is probably pretty ready now to come off. Now we'll flip it over once again so we can remove the APU. Don't think so. Okay. Now, this is the PSU. It has one connector right here that has to be removed before we can go ahead and, well, remove the motherboard. We just have to be careful to pull on the connector itself. So let's try and remove that. So take a look at this connector right here. It's an absolute pain to work with. Focus there. Okay, so it's kind of out. When I first started prying on this, there was no gap here between these two, so between this plastic bit and that yellowish plastic bit right there. And on the other back side, you can also see it well. Yeah, it's kind of out, but I still have to, well, work it a bit more. My God. Sony, what were you thinking? Oh, yay, finally it's out. Oh, this was a pain in the butt. Absolute pain in the beehole. Now that we have that removed, let's go ahead and gently pry up on the motherboard and lift up and over, and that's it. Wow, take a look. Gently lift it out of its position. Hey, Panasonic battery. Pretty good. Let's go. Alright, so this battery is an original, as you can see, CR2032 right here. And we have a replacement for it. Alright. Yep, this thermal paste is looking crusty and it's old. And yeah, just take a look at that coverage. It wasn't looking very good at all. So, yep, that sucks. So let's go ahead. So it's a very good thing that we have actually taken this extra step, and well, we'll have to use new thermal paste on this APU because yeah, it's old, it's crusty, and it's not doing much. That's why you could probably hear this fans going crazy over time because, well, it wasn't managing to keep that APU cool anymore. So let's get to fixing it now. So this is how it looks in the end. It looks okay. You don't have to go crazy. Just a you know, a shiny surface there. You can go to town, but just try not to remove these caps. So just for being, you know, on the safe side, you can just leave some and don't bother with it that much. Just make sure that the surface is clean, which in our case, it's pretty clean. So that's pretty cool. You can still see the subscribe button there. So you know what? If you'd be so kind and awesome, maybe if you found this helpful, maybe, you know, subscribe. Thanks. So it is maybe a bit overdone, but you know what? I like it. It looks a bit like icing or frosting icing on a cake. And it's pretty much okay in my eyes. It's maybe a little bit overkill, but it will do the job for sure. I don't want to get in here ever again, so yeah. Alright, so you know what they say. Reassembling is the opposite of disassembly. Nice and easy, right? Anyway, the idea is that, yes, we're gonna have to flip over the board and make sure that, well, these are the lines, or the ports I should say, for the USB and the Ethernet port and the optical port right here. So yes, these are facing this way, as you can see, and we'll have to put it, you know, at an angle like this and match up the holes with the ports on the other side, and it will just, you know, drop down into its own place, like so. That's it. Now, basically, the CPU, or actually the APU, makes contact with the heatsink on the other side. So let's go ahead and reinstall the heatsink for the APU properly. All right, so this goes on the back here just to spread the load evenly. And then we have this cross bracket here that also has to go in over it like this. So it's like this, not like this. As you can see, there are a bunch of, or I should say, there is a small arrow pointing this way. So that arrow actually points. All right, there we go. So we have this sitting here, ready to go. And let's go ahead and put in the, I should say, the screws for the heatsink. Just lightly putting them on right now. And now we have to take in and start doing it in a cross pattern. So just tighten it until you feel it tightening. And now that it starts to settle and feel tight, then we'll go again into cross pattern and tighten it as best that we can. You don't have to go crazy, but definitely has to be tight enough. Now the CPU has been cleaned and repasted again. So we'll move on down and put on the other bits and bobs that come with this unit. Let's boot it up with the PlayStation here controller. We had a beep. Okay, we're going somewhere. Come on. Hey, it works. Yes. Okay, we have a fully restored, not cosmetically, but anyway, a fully functioning restored PS4 Pro that should be going just as good as, well, the day I first unboxed it, which was on the day of its release. So, whew, that's quite a while back. Right, first boot could be longer because we removed that battery, so we also took care of that. And how it looks. There we go! Yes! Oh yes, it works. No network and stuff like that, but that's fine. Anyway, yes, these are not my games in here. These are my games. I remember, oh, Bloodborne, that was really nice. So just before we wrap up this video, I was thinking of a giveaway. First question, would you use a PS4 Pro in 2025 and moving forward? And if you would, then please drop your comments down below because I'm thinking to give this one away. I haven't been using it for the past few years and I don't see myself using it in the next few years, so that will make it really obsolete. And it's a shame for it to just sit here and collect dust. Well, you know, some of you might actually enjoy it, especially now that it's, you know, up to its brand new condition, not aesthetically or cosmetically, but basically inside is sparkly clean with brand new thermal paste. You have seen all the things that we have done to it and it really works. And yeah, my thoughts are to actually give it away. If the support is definitely there for this, then I will do a follow-up video with all the information required in order for you to have your chance to win this PS4 Pro. Alright guys, until the next one, you've been absolutely amazing. Stay tuned and see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Bye bye for now. Stay awesome.